Hi everyone, how are you? Recently I went to work on making a gift for my son, and I sort of have been taken with these, they're kind of popular right now, soundwave or waveform art. And I thought, oh, I would love to say something that we always say to each other and turn that into a wall hanging that he could put on his wall in his bedroom. And so as I was thinking about doing that, and I decided, since I'm going to be using Procreate to make it, that would actually make a really cool video too. And so that's what we're going to make. We're going to go ahead and make this right here. And you'll need one extra app, and I'll leave the link in the description below. It is called, let's see, WavePad is what it's called, and you can get it for free. I will leave a link in the description below, and that's how we'll get our waveform, and then we'll just have fun turning it into art. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and get started with pressing record and then stop, and then we'll make this look the way it needs to look so that we can bring it into Procreate. So okay, I'm gonna press the record button. I love my YouTube viewers. Okay, now the tool will give you this little option to normalize, which is what we want to do because we want this waveform to get really big. So we're going to go ahead and tap that. Now I want to kind of trim out some of this because I don't need such a long lead line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap inside of this app here, and then I'm going to drag, and you can see this gray. It allows me to select my cut tool right here. Okay, that's awesome. Actually, this is a really good looking waveform, so I'm going to stick with it. What we need to do is collect a snapshot, and I find it really cumbersome to do this. So I actually have Assistive Touch set up with my, I don't even know what this button's called actually, with my little on-off switch here. And all I have to do is tap the on-off switch 3 times. It's all set up in the settings of your iPad, and then you just select Assistive Touch. And what's great is my Assistive Touch lets me get into the device and take a screenshot, and it makes it really simple. And that way I don't have to move things and stuff. I really like using that. And so then I just turn off the Assistive Touch in the same way I turned it on with my 3 taps there. Awesome. Now it's gone. All right, so let's get into Procreate. Okay, inside of Procreate here, I have a 12-inch by 12-inch canvas at 300 dpi. I will probably make the artwork smaller. It's always better to go larger than what you need and then go smaller, or I might decide to turn this into a stamp. I haven't decided. So it seems like for the particular project that I'm working on, that a 12-inch by 12-inch at 300 dpi canvas was the right choice. So, so that's why I've chosen this size. Okay, the first thing we want to do is bring in our sound wave. So we're going to tap our wrench. And we just took a picture, so we're going to go ahead and insert a photo, and we're going to tap that. And then we're going to go ahead and select Fit to Canvas. And as we're getting started here, I just want to point out that I have snapping enabled and distance of 3, which is the default. And the reason I'm saying that is because this might become useful later on. So for now, though, just wanted to let you see what my settings were. So now we have it all where we want it. We're just going to go ahead and tap our transform tool to close it. And then we're going to go ahead and select our selection tool. And then I have automatic, and I want to make sure that color fill is not on. I often use color fill, so I want to make sure that that's not on. It would be blue if it was enabled, but I don't want it enabled. Okay, so now I'm going to tap in here on top of the green. You might have green or blue, just depends on what the app gives you. And then I actually am thinking that right here around 50%, you can use your brush, keeping it on the canvas, to dial the threshold one way or another. And I'm actually thinking that somewhere around 50% here, 56 maybe, 50. Yeah, okay, that looks like that's got a little bit more dimension there. So somewhere around 53% is what I'm going to go ahead and choose. And once I have that selected, I'm going to use my 3 fingers and drag them down to invoke the copy and paste menu. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut and paste my selection. All right, and now we're going to go back over to our layers, and I'm just going to turn off the visibility of this layer 1. And now I have just my waveform here. Now I want it to be all one color, and I want to go ahead and choose a 50% gray color because I'm going to play with this a little bit. So let's go ahead and select this layer, or tap it, and then we're going to go ahead and select Alpha Lock. And then I'm going to go over to my palettes, and I have my default palette is set to a free monochrome palette that you can get from my site, and I'll leave a link in the description below, both for that palette and also that other app that isn't Procreate, the WavePad app. But anyway, I'm going to choose a 50% gray color to fill, and that way it'll make it so that it'll blend nicely when I apply colors to it later on. And so when it comes to this palette, the top layer, or the top row here, is all in 25% increments. So I know that this middle one is 50% black. This bottom one is 10%. So let's go ahead and select 50% here. And we're just going to drop it right in there. And it just changes the color of the entire thing, which is great. Okay, so for this art, if the upper part is sky, this is kind of like buildings. That's the concept I'm going with. It's a little bit abstract, but buildings and then a reflection into some water. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer. So I'm going to tap layer 1 here, and I'm going to create a new layer on top of that. And then I'm going to go ahead and select a brush here. Let's see, actually this one right here, this wet sponge, which is it's a standard brush that comes with Procreate under their water set. So wet sponge, and let's see, we're going to dial that up all the way, and then I'm going to choose kind of a nice like blue color. I don't know, somewhere, something like that. Choose any color you want, of course, because you know every art is personal. But I'm just going to show you what I'm doing here. All right, so I've got that selected. I'm just going to gently drag over and make this sort of like clouds in the sky, and I might really go right in there, and that looks kind of cool. Do I like that too much, maybe? No, I like it. Okay, I like it. And then once I'm satisfied with that, do I like it? Nah, I think I don't. I'm gonna just go more gentle there. All right, once I like it and I'm satisfied, I'm gonna go over to my layers here, and I'm gonna drag that layer just gently to the left and tap duplicate. And then that duplicate, I'm gonna go over to my transform tool, and I'm gonna flip it vertically, and then I'm gonna bring it down. And this is where that snapping comes into play. So I'm looking for the gold lines so that I know that's gone all the way down, and I can see gold line here and gold line there. You can see them on the side too. And then I know it's in the perfect position, so it's now lined up the way I want it. Okay, so now it looks like you've got that really good reflection, but I want to have some water movement in here. So I'm going to create a new layer. Well, not a new layer. I'm going to duplicate that layer that's on the bottom here by gently dragging it to the left and tapping duplicate. And then I'm going to go over to my adjustments, and I'm going to select noise. Okay, and let's see, I'm going to drag that all, drag it all the way up to 300%. Okay, and then I'm going to change that scale, and oh, I want ridges too. Ridges, and I don't know, octaves, I don't know, somewhere in the middle. I don't want it too bright or too dark. I want it somewhere in the middle, so about 35, 40%, something like that. And then I'm going to play with scale until it looks sort of like water movement. Now that seems a little too big for my perspective here, so I'm going to dial it down just a little bit. So it looks like I've gotten around 56, 57% there, and I kind of like that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and tap that adjustments to close it out. And now as you can see, I've got some overlap here, but that's okay. We're going to make some final adjustments as we go. But the first thing I want to do now is play with this and make it look a little bit more watery. So now I'm going to go back to my adjustments, and I'm going to select Liquify. I know it's kind of like become my favorite new tool. I'm going to squish this down so I can see the whole thing here. Okay, and I've got the size at 60, the pressure at max, distortion at maximum, and momentum at maximum. Okay, so you're going to play with it until you're satisfied. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I'm going to go ahead and take down, I'm going to actually put this as overlay, because you just want sort of a gentle like suggestion here. And then I'm also going to dial down the opacity. I just want a hint so it looks like water. And so now you kind of got that sense that this is water and there's this reflection happening, which is, I just love it. Yay, it's cool. Okay. And let's see, now what do I want to do? I think now I'm going to go ahead, I'm pretty satisfied here. Pretty satisfied with my sky and my body of water, because I want this to be settled. This is just going to be a piece of art on the wall. So the next thing I'm going to do is address the buildings here. So I'm like I say, I'm imagining that this is sort of buildings, and we're going to have some sun coming up, so some highlights with some yellow, and then some shadows down here. So those are going to be more like blue. I'm trying to decide what I want the middle part of the building to be, maybe some sort of a red. So I'm going to start out with red and just drag it across the middle here. I'm still going to use the same brush I have here. So let's see, maybe more of a, almost a violety red, and I'm trying to decide how dark. Maybe somewhere right around there. That might be pretty good. Okay, and then let's see, my brush, I had it all the way up. I'm thinking I'm going to go with about 40% here and just drag it across the middle. And actually, did I make a new layer? No, I did not. So I need to make a new layer above my waveform layer here. And I also need to clip it to the waveform layer here. So I'm going to go ahead and select clipping mask. There we go. And then just kind of drag it gently. The thing I love about this brush is that it is just sort of a, it's a transparent brush depending on how hard you press it. And that looks really, really cool. Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay, so now it's time for my highlights, and I want that to be pretty bright yellow, maybe a little more orange there. Something like that. That looks like a good color. Okay. Well, I think I might want to have that even brighter. Well, actually, if I keep pressing on it on the very tips, that kind of turns out pretty cool. Okay, and now it's time for the blue at the bottom, and I probably will go ahead and use red again too, to finish it all out. Okay, so let's go ahead and do blue on the bottom of that layer there. Actually, this blue right here is pretty cool. Let's see, do I want it to be more violet? No, I think I want it more blue. And how dark do I want it? I want it to kind of look like blue. So somewhere around there, I think. Kind of an indigo-y kind of color. I'm just going to kind of edge in here. Okay. Ooh, I like this. This is neat. Okay. Woohoo! This is really fun. Okay. I like that. Ooh, I kind of like it the way it is. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and try some of that red again and just see what I think. But I'm feeling, oh yeah, okay, I do like that red. Okay, there. I think that's it. I think I'm done here. You of course will play until you are satisfied. There's a lot of different things you could do with this. You could actually clip a photo to that image, you know, that one layer. So it's just, there's so many possibilities, and of course so many different words and phrases that you can say. Anyway, I really enjoy this art. I thought it was fun, and I hope you did too. And if you make this and you post it somewhere, please come back and let me know where, because I'd love to take a look at it. I just think this is so much fun. Meanwhile, I hope that your day is amazing.